I never thought a simple question could flip my whole life upside down. But the moment she asked for the password to my phone while hiding her second one, everything snapped into focus in the worst possible way. If you've ever trusted someone so much that you'd bet your future on them, and then something tiny, almost invisible, starts itching in the back of your brain, you already know the feeling I'm talking about. That slow burn, that quiet alarm bell. And you try to ignore it, because if you're wrong, you look paranoid. But if you're right, your whole world changes fast. So here's what happened. When I met her, she felt like the safest person I'd ever known. She had this softness to her voice and this habit of touching my hand mid-conversation, like she wanted to make sure I stayed grounded. And I fell for that. Hard. I wasn't thinking about passwords or secrets or late-night messages. I wasn't even the type of guy who checked phones. I honestly thought that kind of behavior was for people who didn't trust themselves, not their partners. And in the beginning, we didn't hide anything. I'd leave my phone lying around. She'd use it to order food or check the weather. She never made it weird. No locked doors, no flip screens, no sudden silence whenever a notification came in. Everything looked normal, or at least, that's what I believed. The shift was so small, so subtle. I almost convinced myself it wasn't happening. But one night, out of nowhere, she asked me, "Can I have your phone password?" Just like that. No context, no joke, no smile. I remember blinking at her because it felt random, like someone asking you if they can borrow your toothbrush. Nothing technically wrong with it, but something inside you still twitches. "Why?" I asked. She said, "I just want us to have full transparency. Both ways, no secrets." On paper, that sounds reasonable, healthy even, but the way she said it, it felt planned. Like she'd rehearsed it. I should have noticed the tension in her shoulders, the way her eyes kept darting to the bedroom door like she was checking if something was visible behind it. But I was too busy trying to be a good partner, too busy trying not to look like the kind of guy who hides things. So I gave her the code. She tested it, locked the phone, tried again, passed it back, said nothing else. That was the first moment I felt the itch, the quiet alarm bell. Because she didn't give me her password in return, she didn't even mention it. And then, as if the universe wanted to make things clearer, she suddenly became glued to her own phone. And not the phone she usually used, no. A different one, a second phone. One she always kept face down. One she hid behind pillows, under blankets, in her purse, in the drawer near the bed. At first, I thought maybe it was a work thing. She'd recently changed apartments. Maybe they gave her a company phone. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Normal people don't want to be suspicious. Suspicion feels dirty. It makes you feel like you're turning into someone you swore you'd never be. But one thing bothered me. She hated when I even walked past that second phone. She'd reach for it instantly, like muscle memory, like a reflex someone forms only when they're guarding something. I tried brushing it off, told myself I was overthinking, that a password isn't a big deal, that maybe the second phone was temporary. But then came the moment that shattered everything. One evening, she asked again casually, but too casually, "Can I see your phone for a second?" I handed it over, no hesitation, and she looked at me with this expression that I still don't know how to describe, like she was searching for something not on the phone, but in me, checking if I'd break, checking if I'd ask for hers back. I didn't. I wish I had, because that night, after she fell asleep, her second phone lit up, and it wasn't a normal notification. It was a name I'd never seen, with a heart emoji next to it. And the preview message said, "Did you make it home? Miss you already." I swear my heart didn't just drop, it sank, like it was trying to escape my body. I didn't touch the phone, didn't pick it up, didn't open it. I didn't want to be the one who violated privacy. I didn't want to give her the excuse to flip the blame around. You know, that trick people use, how dare you check my stuff? That's the real issue here. I wasn't giving her that weapon, but I also wasn't going to pretend nothing happened. The next morning, I asked her straight, "Who's messaging you at 2 a.m.? Her entire face froze. Not guilt, not fear, just calculation. Like she was running scripts in her head, trying to pick the right lie, the right tone, the right angle. She said, "It's my cousin." I didn't even argue. I simply said, "Call him." She snapped like someone lit a match too close to a gas leak. Accused me of being controlling, paranoid, untrusting. Meanwhile, she was the one hiding a whole phone like it was a loaded secret. And then she dropped the line that told me everything. If you trusted me, you wouldn't ask questions. No. If she trusted me, she wouldn't need a second phone. That was the turning point. The moment the open loops in my head finally snapped into full clarity, I realized I'd been so focused on not being that guy, the jealous, suspicious boyfriend, that I let her become someone I didn't even recognize. So I did something I'd never done before. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't chase her around the room demanding explanations. I just stepped back. Silence scares guilty people more than shouting ever could. Over the next few days, things got worse. She'd take the second phone with her into the shower, into the backyard, into the car, even if she was just grabbing something from the trunk. She started locking doors, closing blinds, whispering during calls. It felt like living with a stranger who was slowly packing up parts of her life while pretending everything was fine. Then came the real punch in the gut. I walked into the bedroom one afternoon and found the second phone lying on the bed. Unlocked, screen on, almost like she forgot it for 2 seconds. And there it was, the truth I'd been too scared to look at. Messages, dozens, weeks worth, maybe months. Plans to meet, jokes about me, conversations about things that happened inside my home when I wasn't even aware she was talking about them. Messages about how he still doesn't suspect anything. Well, I didn't read all of it. I couldn't. My hands were shaking. My chest hurt like someone was pressing a brick against it. The room felt too small, too hot, too loud, even though it was dead silent. I just placed the phone back where it was, and I left the apartment. Not dramatically, not storming out. I walked out as quietly as someone leaving a library. Because the moment you see the truth that clearly, the fight leaves you. There's nothing to argue about when the evidence is screaming without you having to touch it. She called me from her main phone within minutes, crying, panicking, apologizing, explaining, then blaming, then crying again. It was like listening to someone rotate through every emotional setting they had until they found the one that might pull me back in. But here's the thing. Once someone breaks the version of them you loved, you can't unsee the pieces. You can glue them back together, try again, pretend it's fine, but the cracks remain. And every time they smile, you wonder if there's another message waiting on a screen you can't see. I wasn't going to live like that, so I told her I knew. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I said it calmly, and she collapsed into silence. The kind of silence you only hear when a lie finally loses oxygen. She asked if we could fix it, if we could talk, if we could start over, reset, rebuild. But you can't rebuild trust with someone who needed to see your password but wouldn't let you see their truth. And that's the part that still sits heavy on my chest. Not the cheating, not the phone, not the messages, but the fact that she tried to flip the whole thing around on me. Like I was the one who needed to prove I wasn't hiding anything, while she was living a double life 2 feet away from me. The hardest part wasn't ending things. It was accepting that I ignored the signs because I loved her too much to see her clearly. But I'd rather walk away from someone who hides secrets than stay with someone who hides their reality behind a second phone. And if you're listening to this and something in my story sounds familiar, don't ignore that itch in the back of your mind. It's there for a reason.